Catch up on previous parts by clicking the playlist, linked in the description. With everyone paying respects to Yoshino's father's grave, Renji places a can of sake on it. Yoshino's father didn't actually like sake, a statement said by Renji, who added his son was likely scared of hangovers. Hearing her father got married when he was 19, only 1 year older than she was now, she was nervous seeing Kirishima in the back. Walking after the service with Tsubaki, Yoshino expresses relief her grandfather didn't notice how banged up her face was, since she was wearing makeup. She still needed to stop by the dentist later and get them to reattach her dislodged tooth. Kirishima suddenly grabs her bag, telling Yoshino he'd be more than glad to hold it for her. Tsubaki then pointed out how the two seemed glad they were able to keep what had transpired in the park a secret from Renji, but pointed out Shoma might still be mad. Tsubaki and Shoma then began to bicker back and forth a little, with Tsubaki dissing brash, playboy Osaka men, while he basically called Tsubaki a loose skank and told her to go back to Kyoto. Ever since the first time Tsubaki came over to Yoshino's place and met Shoma, these two have always coldly traded insults. With Kirishima brushing Yoshino's loose eyelash, Shoma suddenly pulls her away, much to Kirishima's surprise. Later that night, everyone celebrated at the Somei family barbecue, where Renji pointed out how much Kirishima looked like Gaku to the point it was creepy. He felt it was like one of his old pals was trying to seduce his granddaughter, and when being asked about his feelings, Kirishima boldly admitted his love for Yoshino. After getting a good laugh in, Renji started reminiscing about the time he borrowed Gaku's car and crashed it right into the river. The only thing he brought back was one of the side mirrors, which had been taped onto a bike. The whole story really cracked Kirishima up. However, Gaku had the same reaction as Kirishima now. After having laughed his head off, he beat Renji into a pulp. Gaku had always been great at fighting and gambling. Renji couldn't even beat him at rock, paper, scissors. Hearing that last bit, Yoshino wondered if Kirishima had cheated during their match. Takedo then arrived, and Renji got up, telling everyone he had business to take care of. Shoma then got a notice of business he needed to take care of by Takedo as well. Sometime later, Kirishima was called down to the basement to meet with Renji. In the basement where Renji practiced his golf swings, Renji brought up the cool setup that was air-conditioned and completely soundproofed. Then told Kirishima to pay no mind to the blood on the wall. It was from Shoma, who had come down earlier. Renji then began to shake down Kirishima from the scar around his eye. Kirishima gave his excuses, much like Shoma had earlier. However, Renji was aware the three of them were at the festival the other day. Smacking Kirishima, he wanted to hear more about the events that caused all three of them injury. He knew a little about Ozu's involvement as well, but still, Kirishima would not give a clear answer. Then, hearing directly from Kirishima that this business had gotten Yoshino beaten up a little, Renji started to viciously beat Kirishima, to the point where he started puking. Afterwards, he ultimately gave his blessing to Kirishima, since Kirishima kept his granddaughter from dying. We then turned to Shoma, who had been smoking in a nearby park to chill out after his beating. Kirishima then smugly comes by, asking if he could get a cigarette as well. Shoma had nothing to say, putting out his cigarette and taking his leave. However, Kirishima nudged his shoulder and stole the lighter with a message inscribed by Yoshino that read, "Stop smoking." Kirishima teased at the fact that she gave Shoma a lighter despite also wanting him to quit. A very Yoshino-like thing. Smoking one of Shoma's cigarettes, he pointed out the disgusting taste. Shoma then aggressively grabbed at Kirishima's wrist, procuring his lighter and cigarettes back. But as he tries to leave again, Kirishima provokes him by mentioning how he and Yoshino were officially dating now. Shoma couldn't believe it, but Kirishima kept pushing it, telling Shoma that he had taken his old job. Renji had always kept someone around Yoshino. Before, it was Takedo. Then, it was Shoma. And now that Yoshino was in Tokyo, it was Kirishima's job. Kirishima then started poking at how Renji used everyone within the Somei gang. Shoma didn't believe what Kirishima was saying, responding back that no one in the family was being used. They worked for Renji because they wanted to. So, Kirishima continued to egg him on, calling all of the gang members indoctrined by foolish beliefs. Obedient like well-trained dogs. Putting out the cigarette though, Kirishima told Shoma, "She chose me, not you. That means I win." That was the final straw that got Shoma to slug him. Shoma told Kirishima he was off the mark, and that Yoshino didn't belong to either one of them. But Kirishima retorted that was loser talk. All the while, Yoshino had managed to track them down with a GPS device in the stuffed animal she gave to Kirishima, and seeing he was at a local park, she had a bad feeling. And she was right, because the two Yakuza boys were trading blow for blow. With Kirishima getting knocked down, he got up and threw down a knife for Shoma, pulling out his own, saying it was time for them to end this. Shoma initially got the element of surprise, but then they found themselves face to face holding each other's fatal stab back. Yoshino then suddenly intervened, swinging at both of them, telling them to stop, which unfortunately led to her ankle twisting. The two boys tried to help her out, but she struggled off of them. She then had them find their buttons, and with her sewing kit given back to her by Tsubaki, she told the boys to take their shirts off. For punishment, she wanted them to swap shirts and sew each other's buttons back on. She'd done this many times before, because growing up, Shoma was always getting into fights. When uniforms had gotten damaged, she always made him go to the house of the other guy for the same punishment, and this got him to fight less. She already knew Kirishima had provoked this, so she had Shoma flick her head, now telling Kirishima every time he ignored any questions she had about an event, she'd have Shoma hit her exactly like that. This is what Kirishima didn't like about Shoma. He himself would never hit her, even at her request. He also couldn't understand why Shoma told her her outfit from before was just whatever. In Kirishima's eyes, it wasn't whatever. He thought it was totally cute. Aside from the useless ramblings, Yoshino learns that Kirishima had provoked Shoma by telling him the two of them were dating. But Yoshino wanted to make things clear. She actually agreed to date Kirishima so he'd stop picking fights with Shoma, as a way to make things even. He was only her boyfriend because she was looking out for Shoma's well-being. She then had Tsubaki take Kirishima back so she could chat with Shoma privately. While the two sat together, they talked about how stupid this whole thing was. Yoshino was losing her mind, not certain on how to go about this whole dating thing, wondering what kind of man was truly right for her. To this, Shoma answered, a man that could kill him. This made her wonder if Shoma actually liked her, but he just scoffed it off, calling her statement gross. However, handing back his mended shirt, she expressed that life with him wouldn't be so bad. If the two of them got decent paying jobs and both saved up, they'd probably be okay in old age. Shoma thought the idea sounded good as well, and that living with her would be pretty fun. This made her scoff, and now joking that if they were going to do that, he'd have to quit smoking. Man, they keep teasing at who should be with her. I don't know who's right. Like the video and subscribe for next week's final episode. Also, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.